Hey guys and gals on YouTube and anywhere else this video shows up, welcome to Jack's Low Carb Journey, episode 3, right? It's really more like a few weeks into this now, but been tracking my results. I think it's 12 days where I've been religiously tracking it in a spreadsheet. I do have all my numbers over here so I can give them to you. And I learned my lesson yesterday going long. Let's start out with the facts on the ground. Yesterday I weighed 235.6. This morning I weighed 235.6. It did not come down even an ounce. And I want to talk about weight and when to weigh and how to weigh in just a minute. Somebody commented on that. I thought it was pretty insightful. But what did I eat yesterday? Breakfast yesterday, I've decided to start looking a little bit more at the calories within the macros. As long as I don't feel really hungry, there's no harm in kind of pulling those down a little bit as long as we stick on a low carb, high fat, moderate protein, keto-ish, protein power-ish diet. I don't really care what you call it. You call it whatever you want. It's all based around the same principles. And so I had 1 duck egg. I had 3 ounces of jalapeno sausage. And the reason I did that is that's how much was left from the day before. I had an odd number. Normally I do 4 ounces. I didn't cut that ounce on purpose. And I did that a little differently than I usually do. I just do the sausages patties with the over easy eggs on them. But if you eat the same thing every day, you start to get a little bit bored with your food. So what I did is I scrambled the eggs on top of the crumbled sausage and fried it. Just fried the sausage and dumped the egg in and just let it sit there until the bottom got crisp, because crisp eggs are nice. I flipped it over, put some blue cheese crumbles on it, and that was really good. I didn't eat lunch yesterday. I went with only 2 meals yesterday, but did have a snack. One of these prefabricated things comes from the market. It's an Italian company. I can't think of what it's called right now, but it's actually from Italy. Probably better quality than most of what we get here, but it was prosciutto and some provolone cheese. That was pretty good. It was a good macro assortment, heavy to the fat side. I ate that pretty late in the day. It was evident that dinner was going to be a little bit deferred from normal. Starting to get hungry. It's better to eat that inside your window between your meals than it is to eat it after your last meal of the day. So I went ahead and did it then. And then for dinner, I had a huge salad. When I say huge, I'm talking 4 or 5 cups. Yesterday I had about 4 cups of salad greens. So that's like if you have greens and you're holding them, you're holding this. Right, so about 4 cups of salad greens, about a 4 to 5-ish. I didn't bother weighing it because it's chicken thigh and it doesn't have any carbs in it at all. About 4 to 5 ounces of chicken thigh cut up into pieces. What else is on that salad? Blue cheese, real blue cheese dressing. I talked about on the podcast how to make that yesterday with additional blue cheese crumbles. A couple pieces of bacon chopped up, so not a lot of bacon, just 2 small pieces of bacon chopped up nice and crispy. I don't want to put too much carbs into what I'm doing it all right now, so I'm keeping that down. But I had a little bit of cucumber and a little bit of pepper, and I took 2 really nice looking cherry tomatoes. They're kind of a dark chocolate color, really good flavor, so you get a lot of flavor from a small amount. And I cut them up in little 6 pieces. That way there's 12 little pieces floating throughout the whole salad, kind of a surprise here and there. Again, there was a few peppers and cukes. And try not to go overboard on the calories. And we'll talk more about that in the future. I kind of mentioned yesterday, like calories count, but they don't count. But if you're pounding 3,000 calories and you're burning 2,000 calories, you're not going to lose weight. You might in the beginning, but you're not going to once you kind of plateau. It's not going to happen. So you've been doing like 2 of the Parmesan crisps. I went to 1. And you just crumble them up. It's like a replacement for croutons in there, and a sprinkling of sesame seeds for another pop of flavor. It was fantastic. I mean, and that was about 6 o'clock last night. Right now it is 12:11, and I'm planning on eating my lunch around noon, and trying to go to 2 meals a day, eating at noon and 6, and that'll give me an 18-hour fasting window overnight. Today it may be more like 19 hours because I am not going to probably get done what I'm doing till about 1 o'clock. My issue is I can only push the evening meals so early. My wife takes care of my grandkids, and I will give up a lot for my diet and for improving my health. Sitting down and having dinner with my wife is not something I'm going to give up, and I'm not going to scarf down my own dinner while the kids are here screaming, running around the house at 4 o'clock. So to get that window any further closed, I'm going to have to push my lunch forward. that runs into when she comes back with the boy from school, and I kind of like peace and quiet when I eat. Noon just happens to be a time of the day where it's generally pretty peaceful and quiet around here. She's gone to go get the boy, or she's getting ready to, and the girl is happy and doing something, and there's no commotion. So we're probably going to go with about 12 and 6 right now for a while, which for the fact that I'm in my second and a half week to already be to 2 meals a day with an 18-hour window, that's really good if you're trying to get into an intermittent fast as well. And I'll probably run with that for a couple weeks and see how it does. Things I wanted to cover with you guys today. A couple of you asked about supplements. I'm not going to tell you my supplements because my supplements are coming through a chiropractor named Dr. Stephen Lewis. He's with a company called Green Wisdom Health. I will put a link in the video notes for you so you can look him up. His approach is a lot different than most people that do this. Excuse me. And what I mean by that is that he doesn't just say, oh, everybody needs. So I had blood work done, and my blood work is not great. It's not the most awful in the world, but it's not good right now because I've been telling y'all what to do, and I haven't been doing it. I've been drinking too much alcohol, drinking too much coffee, and eating food I shouldn't eat. That's how I got my ass back up over 240 pounds after I'd already gone from 296 at the fattest I ever was in my life down into below 220. And I let myself come off of that, and I'm not going to do it again. But it has my labs screwed to holy hell. So his supplements are based on, you go get lab analysis, blood drawn done, and then he prescribes supplements based on that. And then each 90 days you go back and have your blood done, and we adjust accordingly. So I'm on supplements that way. And it does create a little bit of an issue for me in that I need to take my supplements far enough apart to take different supplements 3 times a day. And some of those really need to be with a good fat. That leads me to break up my morning supplements, or it leads me to have to go ahead and take them on a relatively empty stomach, and I still have to do some good fat. So some, heavy cream in my coffee, maybe a teaspoon of olive oil. I'll have to work that out, but it's going to interfere with that true fasting. And I know the bulletproof coffee thing and all, maybe I'll do that, but I don't really care for it, so we'll see on that. But yeah, I am on supplements, and I highly recommend if you're going to work with anybody, instead of just taking, generic stuff that you figure you need for yourself, try to find someone that does lab work. Stephen Lewis is not local to me. He's out in Tyler. It's about 3 hours away. He works with everybody. He does a really good job. And I'll put it this way. When I went and got my blood panel done, the girl who's a phlebotomist, that means all she does is take blood for a living. I never did anybody with all of these, So we got really detailed information, more than your doctor generally would, and I'm working with him on shoring up those weaknesses, improving cholesterol and all through supplementation and diet and exercise versus harsh pharmaceuticals. You make your own decision on that. I want to talk about our one pitfall today, and these are going to be 10 minutes, I guess, instead of the 4 I promised, at least in the beginning since I have so much, but it's booze. Kind of mentioned this as an aside before, but I really want to point out, I have not had a drink since I started this. I guess the first couple of days I had one drink in the evening, and you can get away with that, but you really shouldn't. I've made a commitment that, maybe when I get down to 2:30, maybe the weekend after that, I might have a drink or two on Friday or Saturday, and I know I'm going to knock myself out of the rhythm that I'm in, and it's going to take a full day to get back into it. When you drink alcohol, and I am not anti-alcohol, anybody that knows me, who's been to my house, knows I have a pretty amazing liquor assortment, and I like to drink. And I think the drinking in moderation can be okay. But I was drinking way too much, way too frequently. And but when you're in a weight loss, whether you were doing that or not, and you have significant weight to lose, and I'm saying, more than 20 pounds, you're really going to need to pretty much quit, or one night a week, and then it's got to be really moderate. And when you do it, just understand you're going to knock yourself out of what you've worked so hard to achieve. And I'm not talking about just ketosis. I'm talking about the total functioning of the body. When you're burning fat, and again, like I said yesterday, 3,500 calories to burn 1 pound of fat. 3,500 calories, and you literally have to burn it, and you have to go into one way or another some sort of caloric deficit to do that. That's where the mainstream is kind of sort of right. And when you tax your liver with alcohol, and your liver has to stop and deal with that toxin, because alcohol, as useful as it is and as wonderful as it is a toxin, it's not doing everything else optimally. It has to deal with that. So I just advise you, if you've struggled, kill the booze, and when you get down at your weight, you can celebrate, and you can go back to moderate use of alcohol, which is the only healthy way to use it in the first place. But I will say this too, a lot of people, what happens is they only have like 10 pounds to go, and that's where you let up. Those last 10 pounds are going to be hardest. That's actually, instead of the beginning being where you have to be the most militant, it's the end to reach that target weight. So if you've plateaued and you've said, well, I'm drinking sugar-free alcohol, or very low-carb alcohol, cut that. Just cut it for a couple weeks and see what happens. It's alcohol. It won't spoil on the shelf. With that, it's been episode 3. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, etc., post them in the comments below, and we will catch you again tomorrow. By the way, the reason I'm really doing this is holding me accountable. I have to look you guys in the eye every day and say, this did or didn't happen. I did or didn't keep to my word. One of you guys said you believe in me. I believe in you guys too. Thank you for holding me accountable.